All right, welcome Jackie to our call today. And what we're doing is Jackie was a client of mine, and she's just had fabulous results. She's an all-star in my book, and she just kicked butts, take names, and has been really interested in learning about what nutrition is and how it affects her body, how all of these different components work with exercise, with life, with you're an overnight nurse, and there's certainly stresses and different situations of flip-flopping your time schedule back and forth that also make for a interesting and challenging lifestyle more than most. So Jackie, introduce yourself and kind of tell just a smidge about who you are.
Sure. I'm Jackie Davis. I'm actually from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I'm a nurse. I work with newborns. I've done it for 10 years. I work the night shift, so I'm just kind of a night shift person. It works for me. I live the lifestyle. I sleep during the day. It's just one of those things you
Are
kind of
you a
got to figure
vampire?
out. And yes, and I love it. So some people don't,
Wonderful.
but I do like it. So I have a 2-year-old little boy. Actually, he'll be 3 in July, and that's really kind of what I feel like. I had a rough pregnancy, and I feel like that's where I gained a lot of my weight. And after I had him, definitely had trouble getting it off. So I want to say that that's where my weight loss journey began, is after I had my little boy, and that's what really got me into finding what I needed to do to get the weight off and things like that. So
So pregnancy, birth, pregnancy weight just lingered on too
yes.
long. And you're like, all right, it's got to go. It's time to go. And so, what were some of the strategies you used before we met up and started working together that you had success, but then you ran into the inevitable wall?
Yes, definitely. So I I started with, it's actually, I think it's a company called MRC. It's basically just, um, well, let me start with, I've always been very active, and I've worked out, and I do Orange Theory. And even after I had my son, even when I was heavier, right after I had him, I weighed 210 pounds, and I was doing Orange Theory. And I could even run, at that weight, but
Mhm.
the weight still wasn't coming off. So I went to metabolic research, which is very low calorie, high protein, very low carb. I was probably eating 1,200 calories a day, very little to almost no carbohydrates at all. I was almost eliminated from my diet. So I didn't have a lot of energy, but at first, when I started with metabolic, I was losing a lot of weight, like almost 5 pounds a week. So, and then it got to, I was also still working out while I was on the metabolic program.
Mhm.
And my weight eventually got to, a couple months into it, where I just kind of plateaued. I was right around 175. And no matter how strict I stuck to their diet, and no matter how much I exercised, I could not drop below that weight. So that's really just what made me think that that was not sustainable. I didn't have any energy, especially working out.
Weeks of
I, yes, I did not feel good at
no
all.
carb, no
Um,
energy. Your overnight shift conflicting with daytime light living on your off days. So,
yes.
and raising a young one. I have four. So 9 is the oldest, 3 is the youngest. So I've been through all of that multiple times. I know what that's like. So
Yes.
yeah. hmm
Yep, definitely.
So
Um, yes. So
okay.
I was just looking for something,
What were some of the foods or like the things that they had you eat while you were doing the quote 1200? That's a very familiar calorie intake for women. So
yes. I feel like I was eating things that I needed to be eating, just not enough of them. Like with the 1,200 calories, it was mostly protein. So they
mhm,
wanted you to have like some kind of lean, like ground turkey or grilled
mhm,
chicken. And then they also had protein supplements that you would take in between your meals that would just barely hold you over until you kind of got to your next meal. And then as far as your carbs go per meal, I would have maybe like 4 raspberries
Oh yeah.
at each meal. So just hardly anything.
And then imagine, how did that jive go work with your like everyday life as well? So, going to work, raising your family, spending time with your husband on date nights, if you were able to squeeze those in, how did that lifestyle affect that?
Definitely there was no like going out to eat, no restaurants. That just, it was very hard to do something like that kind of diet and go out to eat somewhere. Is nearly impossible. So everything had to be prepared at home. Everything had to be measured. It was very time consuming. I did not eat the same thing that my family ate.
Okay.
So that was definitely hard. Yeah.
So you got stuck. How long were you stuck? And then you're like, all right, we need to find a different way. I'm tired of banging my head against the wall. What was the next next point of like, all right, I need help, more help, some other help?
Well, I was on the program. I want to say I was with them for maybe 3 or 4 months. And then when my time was up, that's when I was on my plateau. So after I was done with metabolic, I just kind of tried to follow, some of the things, the information that they had given me. So I would say probably 4 months after that. And then I started really researching, and I felt like I needed to find a nutritionist and find somebody that could teach me really what I needed to be eating, and just something that could stick with me forever instead of kind of yo-yo dieting or, oh,
Mhm.
I think I need to be doing this because it's going to make me lose a lot of weight really fast. And even though that's nice when you see it coming off that quickly, it eventually, comes to an end. It's
There's,
just not
there's a pendulum.
sustainable.
If we pull that
Yes.
pendulum too far one way, at some point it
Yes.
might come swinging back too far the other way. And so many people have experienced that. On the program that you were in, how was your nutrition education? Because that's something that you and I had worked quite a bit on, is trying
Mhm.
to open you up to what food actually was. So what was that?
Yes. I don't feel like they really educated me on, what food was, like in the detail that you and I went into. Um, they literally, I had a list of, okay, pick a protein from this section, pick a vegetable from this section, and pick a carbohydrate from this section, and that's your meal. So there was no, this is why we pick this, or here's a nutrition label, and this is how we read it, and this is how you understand it. It was just pick A, B, and C, and that's your meal,
Yeah.
pretty much. So other than that, I don't feel like I don't feel like I learned anything nutritionally from
All right, great. So then enter in our, initial conversation and then first meeting. And what were some of the impressions or things that like got you shifted to, like, all right, what's Brian got to say and why should I listen?
them. Well, the first thing, I know I've told you this before, but what really appealed to me is that you go by Coach Brian. And I played softball at a competitive level in college, so I really can relate to a coach. And I just feel like, I could just tell you were genuine, and you were going to be, from all the reviews you've had and everything, that you literally are people's right hand man, and that's exactly what you are. And just hold me accountable. And that's really what I was looking for, someone that could teach me what I needed to know about food and be held accountable and send you my meals and ideas and just ask questions. And, it really worked out. So.
You started sending the first round of pictures. I'm like, I'm not sure what help she needs. She actually needs. These meals are great. So obviously, like, you just like kind of came in, grabbed the bull by its horns, and just started taking action. It was heavily reflected in your language, in what you're sharing, the information, and all that stuff. And so the accountability was a big piece. The support was a big piece for you. What about the information? So like a food label, if you come across a food label, does it actually make sense to you?
Yes, I think of food completely different now that I understand the food label. Like, I feel like I'm obsessed with them now for sure, especially the
In a good
fiber.
way,
Like
right?
that's something, yes, in a good way,
Yeah.
for sure. I because I feel like no foods are off limits, but I do feel like a nutrition label can help me, even if it's these tortilla A, B, and C, they're all very different if you can flip them over and look at the nutrition label and which one, is actually better for you or a better choice. So,
Definitely.
mhm.
Um, what what were the main things that helped you understand the concept of nutrition, and then actually, we all encourage you to eat more food as well.
Yes, I love, like, I did not realize how starving my body was starving. I just, it's like I started eating more right away and the weight just started coming off. It's like it was so easy. It was just crazy to me because I had this misconception for such a long time that I needed to eat so few calories, and I just had this idea that carbs were, bad for me, or I needed to eliminate them. So, and then it just really surprised me to start eating carbohydrates again, and how much energy I had and how good I felt, and I was losing weight. So I really just feel like I was, misled before, and I have a better understanding that, I'm very active and my body needs the carbs to be able to, function. So
Definitely, I totally agree with you on that. There's two places that we learn our nutrition from. One's our parents. The second one is marketing. And you, like so many other people, even myself, were sold on the marketing of even the 1,200 calorie diet, or the no carb approach, or that's the biggest thing out right now is the keto thing. That's the wave that's hitting the stands. Prior to that, it was paleo, and that was a bunch of carbs and
mm-hmm.
stuff. And before that, it was like Atkins, and it's just like this back and forth. But soon as we can start educating you around the calories of what the foods are, what the carbs, the proteins, the fats, what those actually are, and how they stack up in your day, you seem to respond so well to that, and just be able to start juggling it, and then have like way better real life experiences with your family, with going out to eat. I remember a Mexican outing that you had. And so how did that go? Like, so I could only imagine that if you got invited to a Mexican and you're trying to eat like this many calories, like that probably was a stressful situation for you.
Yeah, very. And I mean, this, it just, you helped me so much. And I know we also talked before about how I used to, when I was on the other program, I literally carried a food scale around with me everywhere. I was obsessed with measuring everything. I took it to restaurants. I didn't care what people thought. I would
Is
just
the third
put it out on
wheel
the table.
for your husband, right?
Yeah. He's embarrassed. I'm not. Anyway, so I know we talked about that. I took it that night to the Mexican restaurant, but honestly, once you get used to your portion sizes, like if you're measuring at home, you can go to a restaurant and, we picked fajitas that night. And I only had one tortilla instead of having several, and just ate the chicken and vegetables. And I didn't feel like I missed out on anything,
Right.
you know.
Socialize and enjoy, and then your friends were like, "Oh God, Jackie's dieting again." Oh geez.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing, is that when you aren't informed about nutrition, and you've just gone like read all the books and Googled all the things and asked all the people, you're just in confusion. And so then it just sets this target up on your forehead, like unfortunately, like that you're losing the battle. The L is for losing, not loser, but losing, because you're confused and you never know where to go, because it's always in confliction. And so some of the core concepts around nutrition is what I aim to coach and teach people through, so that you get it a lot better. And then you can understand, like, no matter what social situation you're in, what, or like just situation, like you were literally like night and day difference, which you were like amazing at handling, and just a rock star at flip flop in your schedule. Like, we hardly had to talk about that because you just were like boom, boom, and you just executed so well. Um, how did your workouts go? So how many times you at Orange Theory?
Usually I go 4 times a week. So,
Great. So you're
and then
busting your
like
butt
for
then.
yeah,
Yeah.
per day, I burn roughly 550 calories or so in a workout there. So
Right. Right. So you're hustling, and then you're busy all day too. You got a young family, and so you're doing that stuff and probably managing all the other super mom jobs that you have to do as well. And and so what did you notice with just like your workout performance as you started to feed yourself and you started to eat carbohydrates and all that?
So before I started with you, when I was still on, when I was still limiting my carbs, my Orange Theory is based around like you have a base pace on the treadmill, just something that you can run at that speed for like a 30 plus minutes time that you could do for a long time. And that speed for me used to be around a 5.4 or a 5.5.
Okay.
When I started adding the carbs back in, when I started with you, almost instantly, I mean, maybe even, a couple days to a week later, I was able to sustain like almost, a 5.9 or a 6 for my base pace. I mean, it was a big like performance for sure.
Awesome.
I felt like in the gym. It was awesome.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's awesome. So a lot more energy, a lot more effort. And that's the other thing that people kind of miss is if your workouts are more robust, you burn more calories. And if you're physically stronger, more capable, you can change and transform the body from the inside out, and fueling fat loss rather than starving fat loss, which is most people do outside in, is they just try to whittle themselves away. Um, okay, so that's wonderful. And then how about other perspectives around your own fitness journey? And I know we've talked about Orange Theory and how that you enjoy that, which is fabulous, but we've also kind of opened up other possibilities around what exercise could be. And cardio on your off day doesn't necessarily have to mean you go out for that run every single time. And we really, what was that like for you?
That was another thing, just like the carbohydrate misconception. I feel like I had other than, I feel like Orange Theory is very structured.
Yes.
But outside of that, I feel like I just kind of thought that to work out, you just go for a run and then you lift maybe a few weights here and there. I really didn't understand. And then on your website, there's all those awesome like cardio, just workouts you could literally do in your garage, which I've done several of them, just body weight exercises. There's ones that have like mountain climbers or jump squats, and you can, it's strength and cardio. And then we also talked about, just getting stronger in general, like how I needed to lift heavier weight, to reach some of my goals that I have outside of where I am currently. Just things that I would like to evolve, to eventually. So, and getting stronger.
Yeah, they say strong is the new sexy. So,
Yes.
And so we opened up like other ways of exercising to you, that you don't just have to go to a class. So you don't have to just do one mode of exercise. There's so many different ways. Now, I've been doing this for like 18 years and I've seen all sorts of different ones because I've personally done them I ran in high school, then I ran marathons when I was in college age, and raced Olympic distance triathlons, and then did CrossFit, which is like the exact opposite end of endurance. And then I've lifted weights and lifted heavy and all sorts of different things. So I've programmed thousands of workouts in my day, and so like I can interject these things into the conversation we have together about what fitness actually is and can mean to you. So many more possibilities, because Orange Theory is fabulous, but maybe at some point it might not be as fabulous for you, because you might just get bored of it, or they might close their doors, or like, who knows, and you need to be equipped with something else, just like Pilates or yoga or CrossFit or Orange Theory or Soul Cycle, or you can name all sorts of different things, boot camp classes, jazzercise, group exercise, you can step classes, all these different evolutions of fitness, and there'll always be more, so that we can just teach you the underlying concepts. So
Yeah.
all right, cool. So there's that. Now, as you look into the future, can you see what the body is, what your body is in store for, like how you can transform it, and what you can actually do as years from now, and be able to maintain that? Can you maintain it? What is your vision for Jackie 5 years from now?
Just to be the strongest, most fit, lean Jackie that I can be. I just want to be, I want to be healthy and active for my son growing up. I mean, that's what's important to me, honestly, and I also just, you feel good when you look good. It makes you feel better, and just, I feel like it just makes everything better. I just feel better inside, and I just want to do what's good for me and what makes me feel good and what makes my family happy, and
Right.
this is important to me. So
Right, definitely. And you'll know how to do it, right?
yes.
Yeah, good. And so in 5 years, you're not going to be like, oh, what diet do I need to try this time?
No more diet.
And the diet cycle, right?
This is not a diet. I mean, it's something that it's just so easy. It just fits into your life. You can go out to eat. You can, have a cupcake or cake at a birthday, and you don't feel guilty about it.
Right.
So it's just really easy.
That's fabulous. So that's your concept of nutrition now. And can you see, because there's a lot of women that are stuck in this, of like how much time and energy and effort you are stuck in and consumed with, just like, I need to lose weight. I don't feel good about the way I look. I'm not fit. The clothes don't fit. I'm not intimate with my partner's spouse, or it goes on, and my self-talk and my inner confidence, like all these things end up weighing you down. And so were you able to kind of resolve some of those issues as well, with having some confidence?
That was definitely me. I mean, you checked every box. So, and you just feel like, you're just like stuck in a rut, and no matter what you try, you're just stuck. But, I don't feel like that now. I feel like I definitely have the tools I need, and no more diets.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. That's one of my sneaky little moves. Like, hey, let's talk about food, and then we start talking about all this stuff, and then you're like, oh wow, like we shift you out of this mindset stuff. And I often talk a lot about power of choice, or belief patterns, and it's the mindset piece that's going to help really shift you into eating properly. Or you can know all the food things, all the information about nutrition, but still completely mess up if you're not strong up here and practicing proper, really good mindset strategies and tools, and equipping yourself to have success. Called setting the table, and making sure that you're framing yourself to have as much success as possible, so you can continue this. And then we get to the situation where you're at, is just like, you'll just be cruising. I could call you up 5 years from now, and you'll be like, Brian, blah, 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 blah. So good. And then my heart will smile, and my team will smile, and be like, yes, we did really good work with Jackie. She's been rid of all this nonsense that she was struggling with because of XYZ, just misinformation or whatever. So
yes,
excellent.
exactly.
Excellent. Jackie, is there anything that you tell someone else? Like think about, when you were kind of had the cloud around you of confusion of what to do or what nutrition is, or no carbs, all protein, or no calories, whatever. Like what would you, how could you like tell yourself now, tell your old self then, like what to do or how to get, like go find help or whatever? How would you instruct or say?
I would definitely just say, don't follow the in thing or the fad thing, whatever is in now. It's just the yo-yo dieting, and it's just not something that's sustainable. Like, you just really need to understand what you're eating and understand your body, your activity level, what you do a day, how much you need to eat, you just, and to me, I'm a nurse. I don't deal with really nutrition. So I just didn't know, like, I don't have that knowledge. So I felt like I needed to speak with someone that, that was their specialty, and then that's what they went to school for, and then that's what they do every day. It's like someone asking me about nursing questions or what's wrong with, this person. That's how I felt. I just needed to speak with someone this was their specialty for sure.
Awesome. Well, sounds like we took really good care of you. We equipped you.
Yes.
We got some resources. We empowered you to take the right action. And you are just like I said, I can't tell you enough. I tell you all the time. It's just like, Jackie, if you know other Jackies that are looking for help, please send them my way, because it's a pleasure working with you and helping you transform a lot of things in your world and stuff. So with that, I am, just keep on keeping on. And as always, you can always reach out and reconnect and ask or share, or definitely share for sure. So
Of course. Thank you.
yeah, and thank you so much for sharing this, and hopefully this inspires someone to take action. And if they want to take action based on your story or other stories of other women that they need some help, they know that they are going nowhere. They're spinning their wheels. They're lost in the confusion that is Google on nutrition, or what my friend told me, or because they heard something from someone that they watched on TV and heard from someone else. That's kind of how it all goes.
Yeah.
We can
Yep.
really clear that up, and also have a really good supportive community around women in general. And that's what the Women's Body Breakthrough really is kind of all about, is bringing like-minded women together that want to improve their health, their fitness, their lifestyle around health, but even beyond, their confidence, belief, and that mindset piece. And I love kind of jumping in there and really, flipping things upside down to get a way better person on the outside, on the flip side of it. So, Jackie, thank you so much for your hard work, your effort, and also sharing with us tonight.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, and have a great night.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.